Hey, seventh graders, how you doing? Maybe I ought to say, hey, partner. Hey, cowboy, how you doing? As you guys will remember, last week I was at the train depot in Halstead, and we were studying the impact that the railroads had on the settlement and the development of Kansas. This week, hey, we're going to concentrate our studies on the cattle drives and the homesteaders. Some people have known or called them the cowboys and the sodbusters. Hey, what if you had 5 million head of longhorn cattle in Texas, worth about $4 a piece? That's a lot of money. Lot of money. Lots of coffee, lots of bean, lots of steak. Yeah. Hey, but what if you had a larger market back east? What if those same cattle that you could sell in Texas for $4 were worth 30 or 40 bucks back in markets like Chicago and Cincinnati? What would you do? Would you be like a guy by the name of Jesse Chisholm? Would you try to connect supply with demand? That's what he did. All right, how do you connect the supply of cattle with the demand? Well, two words: long drive. And I'm not talking about the kind of long drive my family used to go on a Sunday afternoon in the car. No, we're talking about bringing cattle all the way from Texas up to Abilene on the Chisholm Trail, bringing them across the old Flint Hills and fattening them up right before we get them into town. The question I want to ask you: on that long drive, would you want to be a cowboy, or would you want to be a chuck wagon cook? I got two videos on this week's unit. If you want to look at those videos, be nice to decide if you want to be a cowboy or a chuck wagon. Now, those cowboys and cattle that were coming to Abilene, how did guys like Mr. Simpson that we saw in our video, how did he like him? You guys remember the video? Mr. Simpson's son was a cowboy. Things didn't work out very good for him. Mr. Simpson is a sodbuster. Hey, he wants to farm that land. But now you got these cattle guys coming up. So people were studying these long drives. And eventually those long drives are going to end. And one of the reasons why, and it's kind of ironic, it was something called Texas fever. They had a quarantine law or a quarantine line. And these longhorns were bringing up these cattle that were infected with ticks, and it would kill the cattle in Kansas. So that's one of the reasons why the long drive is going to come to an end. Another reason, hey, barbed wire fence. And then another reason, a major reason is, hey guys, the railroads go south. And when the railroads go south, you know what? We can butcher those cattle down in Texas, put them in a refrigerated boxcar, bring them up, and we don't have to worry about them trampling over our wheat and things like that. So as this unit goes on, you guys got guys like Mr. Simpson. All right, he's going to come out here and they're going to adapt. There's a little bit of a unit here on adapting. What are you going to do when you don't have trees to build a house? What are you going to do when you don't have trees to build fences? People are going to adapt. And hey, if you get really energetic, maybe you're bored, you want something to do, maybe you want to ask your parents if you could do this, but hey, go out and measure an acre of land. Just see how big it is. 208 feet by 208 feet, or 660 feet by 66 feet. That's an acre of land. Maybe compare it to a size of a football field. But think about that. Hey, I hope you guys are doing okay. Again, this unit is on the importance and impact that the cattle drives and the homesteaders had on the state of Kansas. I'm hoping you guys are doing okay. I know my cowboy hat, working fair. And hey, I get out there in front of the long drive, got some stampeding cattle. I'm not using this to rob a bank. I'm using it to keep the dust out of my mouth. So, hey, you guys have a good day. Take care.